Good morning, America. This is KJP with Kevin J. Sadler, James Fawn, and Paris Gold. Almost 2 years ago today, Francis Gary Powers was captured by the USSR near Aramil, Soviet Union. Now, almost 2 years after the incident, Gary Powers has safely returned to the U.S.
Thanks, Kevin. Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Fawn, and I'm here with former President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and we're here to discuss the situation of the U-2 spy plane incident. Mr. President, what was Russia's response to this unexpected turn of events? How did they react?
Well, to tell you the truth, Fawn, Russia tried to spring this incident on us at the Paris Summit Conference. But before the conference could take place, I made a point to Khrushchev by saying, since he didn't agree to have mutual flyovers over both our countries, he had only himself to blame for not taking any secret militaristic movements, as we did. That obviously was an irksome statement for him, for the conference was canceled, and Khrushchev refused to have any more negotiations with me. I suspect he's waiting to bring his blackmail on my successor, Kennedy.
Well, we had also received news that the pilot of the U-2 that was shot down, Gary Powers, was captured by Russians and sentenced to 10 years in prison, if our information is correct, but we hear he was released prematurely. Why was that?
We set up a prisoner exchange for him with the Soviet agent the CIA had caught, named Rudolf Abel. The Russians had agreed to the terms, and the exchange went smoothly, or so we were told.
Sir, how do you feel this incident affects our relations with Russia?
Well, to be honest, even if Russians could go back to war with us, I find it doubtful that they would. The pictures provided by the U-2 before it was shot down showed the Americans that we have the most dominant military superiority thus far. Besides, we didn't technically declare war with this reconnaissance mission, but that does not make this stupid U-2 mess any less of the worst debacle of a presidency.
Thank you for your time, Mr. President. Well, folks, from what we have heard from Eisenhower here, it remains to be seen whether or not Russia will take any open hostilities toward the U.S. But if issues like the U-2 incident here continues, only time will tell whether or not they will. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you for your time, Mr. President. Now to Paris for the details on the crash.
Thank you, Kevin. On May 1st, 1960, the U-2 spy plane captained by Gary Powers was shot down by the Soviet Union. The plane crashed near Aramil, Soviet Union, which is right around here. And Gary Powers survived the crash, but he was captured by the Soviet Union and taken to Vladimirsky Central Prison in the city of Vladimir, just east of Moscow, which was right around here. The spy plane was gathering information on the Soviets, but they spotted it and shot it down. This event caused tension between the Soviet Union and the United States, and the next few days were filled with tense negotiations. 7 days after the incident, Khrushchev commented that the militarists in the Pentagon seem unable to call a halt on their war effort. Because of the tension between us, the summit that was to be held in Paris, France, and scheduled for later that month, where we were supposed to discuss the status of Berlin and nuclear arms control, was canceled. Although there was a lot of tension and still is, we have managed to work out our differences enough to come to an agreement about what to do with Mr. Powers. Hopefully we will be able to work out some more things. Now back to you.
And now we're back with information about the U-2 spy plane. Francis Gary Powers was a lone American flying at 80,000 feet who was shot down above Soviet cities. This mission was to gather intelligence and was co-sponsored by the CIA and the U.S. Air Force. Francis Powers participated in the American effort to counter the growing advantage that the Soviets enjoyed with their intelligence gathering networks. Europe and American institutions were rife with KGB spy cells, all collecting valuable info on the military preparedness of the U.S. and its NATO allies. The concept of a high-altitude, long-range spy plane had been banned about within the CIA since the end of World War II. The project was originally given a budget of $35 million to develop 30 planes, to include a new high-altitude camera developed by Edwin Land. The first U-2 was built in 88 days, and it made its maiden flight in August of 1958. In June of 1956, the U-2 first flew over the USSR from Adana to Bodo, Norway, a distance of 3,788 miles at an altitude of 80,000 feet. Earlier today was the first ever US to Soviet Union spy swap. Here is a clip from earlier today. This was Kevin J. Sadler, Paris Gold, and James Vaughn. And we will see you again tomorrow.